People ask me about debt, and my favorite passage to refer to is Proverbs 22:7, where it says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender." I know how it feels to be a slave to the lender. When we were in our toughest financial times and we were in all of that debt, I was a slave to the lender. I did not understand that before that actually happened to me. I hadn't thought about how it was affecting my family. My wife had mentioned recently that she remembers the day when she went to the grocery store with all the kids, and she went to pay for those groceries and the card was rejected. Having that much debt became a jail. There was no way to get out, and the crushing of our spirit was what was so difficult. Is all debt bad? No. When we go into debt for something that increases in value, for instance, a house, it's always good to ask yourself, if I buy this house, is it in an area that is going to increase in value? If not, you have to question whether that's a good idea. But there is good debt. Another example would be tuition for college. If you don't go to college and you find yourself making $25,000, $30,000 a year, and that's your max, but yet if you go to college, you're gonna make $50,000 a year, it's okay to go into debt to do that. It's something that increases in value. So understand that it's not all debt is bad, but it's very easy to try to justify debt unless you really take it to God. You really take it to other people that know you and say, is this a good thing to go into debt for? So when we look at someone's situation, we look at their assets and their debts or their liabilities. Both are very important. If you have a lot of debt and you have a lot of assets, you might want to stop and really look at how can we reduce the amount of liabilities. When I look at a debt, if you tell me that the interest rate on that debt is 9%, if I pay $1 towards that debt, that dollar gets 9% interest. Some people can get ahead of their skis and they say, well, I want to invest, I want to invest, I want to invest. But the reality is the debt that they're being charged interest on is guaranteed interest. Ultimately, that dollar paying down an interest rate that's higher than what you would expect to make into an investment is ultimately the best place to put that money in to pay down that debt. Someone would say, should I put into my 401k? I still have this debt over here. The question I would ask is your 401k met with a match from your employer? If they have a match where you put in 1% and they put in 1%, in that situation, that's like getting 100% return on your investment in year one. The average return of that investment over the next X amount of years is going to be very high because you got a 1-to-1 match. It's not always that simple because it really comes down to how much debt you have, how much it's costing you every month in order to service your debt, and that could be crushing to your lifestyle. It could be to the point where it makes things too tight. You can't prepare for emergencies. So it is important to realize that every situation is different and you have to approach it that way. One thing for one person may not be a good thing for someone else.